Hello. Hello. This camera's so low. I'm here today to start a new sketchbook. As you can probably assume that the sketchbook that I am working on or currently filling is still in progress. There's about like 10-15 pages that are still unopened or untouched. And oh boy, that will not stop me from starting a new one. Because I have a sort of greed that is only accurately described in the Bible. This is upside down, wow. I have the Talons Art Creation Sketchbook. It is 4.5, a little over 4.5 by 4.5. I have seen these around. I have some friends who have used this, and I am also jealous of their tiny sketchbook swag. And so I am going to take this and unpeel it and make it my own. So that's what we're doing today. And I think maybe we'll draw something too. Wow. Whoa! But I started out, this is me peeling off the plastic, and sort of checking out. It's a nice, like sort of pseudo, like faux leather texture. The guy you see in the background is my friend Clover. I'm at his house currently. This is not where I live. And these are not my stickers. I just straight up stole them and he let me for the video. And because he loves me and he's my friend. But he keeps like giving me some really great stickers, and just handing them to me, to put on my sketchbook. And so I have, hello, my name is, and, a sweet Gengar, and then quickly the cool big fan. He has like a lot of these like very strange ones with like a lot of text, like the flowers and balloons. I really tried hard to incorporate it into the cover, but I don't think it made it. I'm trying to like fill up space with like smaller stickers. This one says chill on it, putting the cat down, having a lot of fun. There's like this, the tomato. I was such a big fan of the tomato. Unfortunately it gets covered up by the elastic a little bit, but, and I always put the elastic on whenever I have it closed, so it's not the most obvious, but I still like it a lot. And I'm just trying to like make sure that like not all the stickers are like in like the same spot and the same orientation, because they're all like similar sizes, and I'm more used to having more space with sketchbooks, and so I'm trying to be more picky with like the stuff that I'm putting on. But I'm putting on a lot of smiley faces and stars, and there's like a cat with like, it's like a sad cat ramen thing. It's very sweet. I'm having difficulties with my camera. I have it balanced on like 3 books in this shot. Non-binary heart sticker I didn't put on because it was way too big. More stars and more like fiddly bits. Now we're getting to like smaller stickers, which are easier to put on, mostly because like the groundwork is laid down. I'm trying to find somewhere to fill out that middle space. I'm really trying. And I ended up going with this breakfast special sticker, which you'll see in a second. I'm a big fan of it. I think I'm just about done with the stickering process. I found like another one. Here's the ramen cat in that corner. And yeah, just filling out like the last like couple like pieces of space for fun, for laughs, for a giggle even. Yeah, and there's not much to talk about as I put on these final couple of stickers. There we go. But I wanted to personalize it just a little bit more, and like specifically with like the little bookmark tangly thing. I never use those, frankly, so I just like put some like little perler bead charms like with like little hearts and stars and flowers and stuff. I'm a big fan of like how cute this is, because I don't think a lot of the stuff that I draw is like very cutesy like this sort of thing. I'd recently got this tripod camera, so now I can make these dope overhead shots, but forgive me if I have to like keep adjusting lights because I'm a little like type away about it forever. Yes, Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So I haven't started on this sketchbook, which I have yet to name. And I have this convention with all my sketchbooks, and I've been doing this sort of like thing since sophomore year of high school, or like sophomore freshman year, where I've been labeling all my sketchbooks alphabetically from A to B. And so I wanted to show you the one that I sort of more or less filled out before I work on the next one. And so it's like a sort of impromptu sketchbook tour. Wow! Whoa! Crazy! So on the first spread, it's the cover, and I name all these ones alphabetically, like I said before. And this one is called Sweetieful, which is a sort of like a vocab term that we've all like sort of shared in my friend group. And this is me as a cherub, because I started this in February, all the way back in February. And this is me holding the gun that killed the Prime Minister of Japan, because I don't know how to draw guns very well, but I know how to draw two tubes like duct tape to a board with a handle, and it says, "Don't freaking step to me, asshole." I hope I can swear. So now we're moving on to the thumbnailing stage. Over the past semester, for context, I am a rising senior at an art school. I want art to be my professional career, all that good stuff. And something that our professors have all hammered in as like the importance of like ideation and sketching and that sort of thing. And I was not super keen on that this entire semester, and it sort of like bit me in the ass. So even like smaller projects like this, I'd like to try to spend some time doing like sketches and stuff. And so here are like essentially just like really quick thumbnails. I'm trying to like play with like less horizontal composition. I'm breaking out of a cryostasis tube with those top three on the right. Super like just like really just drawing whatever, just trying to get a feel out. And you can tell very quickly, eagle-eye viewers, you can tell that the thumbnails I'm doing are not proportionate to the sketchbook itself. It's just essentially two squares next to each other, and it's not necessarily, it's a much longer rectangle than what I'm or like shorter, squatter rectangle than what I'm describing, and that's something that comes up a little later. And now I'm just trying to figure out some stuff, like filling out space, or like trying to do like tacky B-movie poster style thing. But I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, I just need to get this done, because I don't necessarily like thumbnailing. I don't necessarily enjoy it immediately. It takes me a second to get into it, because usually when I think of like something to draw, I usually just imagine the whole thing, but that's not the point. That's not a good habit to have in any capacity, because then it leads to like more problems later. And you can see it's a new day, because I was doing the last shot the night, like very late in the evening, and these like clips are from the daytime, where I have like a much more concrete sense of what I want to do. It's more of like the B-movie poster, that sort of thing. I'm a big vampire fan. People who know me know that it's like one of my special favorite things. So of course I'm gonna draw myself as like a fucking Dracula. I love calling vampires Draculas, because I don't know, it's just really funny. But I was trying to use the cryostasis composition instead of like a tube. It's more of like a really corny coffin, and I am a big fan of that. Like real Count Von Count, Sesame Street, real Rankin Bass Monster Mash. That's like sort of the vibe that I was going for. And I'm drawing me with my stupid big square glasses and my charming little insectine smile. I'm having like a lot of fun, like just working on this sort of thing. It becomes more concrete. It turns out doing thumbnails is actually like good and stuff. Who would have guessed? As if like I didn't have like 4 to 5 working professionals every other week telling me that I should be doing more of it. Shout out. So yeah, that's what I ended up going with. Now it's time to do the penciling, and this sort of thing comes pretty easy. This is like a very low stakes drawing. It's just like, as long as it's like polished, I guess, or finished to a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, this could be the cover. I'm not worried about making a masterpiece. I'm not worried about like breaking boundaries. I'm doing something that's very well in my comfort zone, which is really like gnarly self-portraits and vampires. So yeah, just trying to get the teeth down. I sort of wish I went with the more regular like square smile and just like pointed it out. I sort of dislike the mouth, how it ended up later down the line. But here I'm like adding some trees and stuff and all that good stuff, and like immediately I'm back like with doing like the line art. And line art is not something that I'm super good at. A lot of my digital art, I tried not to even include it necessarily because I think it looks bad, but I feel like my line art in person is pretty okay. Just ignore the first pass where you see like a lot of little gaps and stuff. I sort of pride myself in having a very organic art style, I guess. But a lot of it is to excuse like a sort of lackluster pen control, but it's fine. I added some stuff that I did not include in the thumbnails, which is a ashtray for a little doobie that I'm having in my coffin, as well as like a little cape, and trying to get my hairline down, adding like textures on the coffin, just trying to like give like more like visual interest overall. I'm using like line weight on the outside of the coffin just to make it pop a little bit more, like the sort of like depth indicator, and I'm drawing a little iPhone in there because I'm watching reels and smoking a joint in my coffin, because I'm that cool. And yeah, lots more texture. I had like a lot of fun with this. It's like, I forget the marker that I'm using. It's I believe I have it next to me, but it's a Tombow like inking marker. It's like I'm a big fan of it. And like I can get like a lot of like really nice like control with it. It comes like in a 2-pack or like one tip. They're both plastic tipped, like sort of like brush pens, but this one is a lot more firm than the other one, which I like, because I can still get like some variation, but not necessarily worry about having like a lot of control, because it is like pretty stiff. And now we're moving to coloring, and this is something that I sort of got hung up on, mainly because it's been a really long time since I've used these markers. This is a mix of Tombow markers and just straight up Crayola magic markers. I'm a big fan of like the sort of color range that they have. And so those two together, like, it's like a nice like set, and like the Crayola markers are so much cheaper, so it's like I have like a bunch of them. But I like really struggled with this sort of color palette, and surprise, surprise, it's because I didn't do any like color studies or like value studies with this sort of thing. So yeah, I'm sorry, shoot. But yeah, I'm just building up highlights and like all that sort of good stuff. I'm trying to like make sure that I don't necessarily paint with just like the local color, which is just like the color that it is like everything is supposed to be in like full like natural like full daylight lighting. I'm trying to do like more atmospheric stuff because I was also a little worried about how much ink the paper could hold up, but surprisingly I laid it down pretty thick in some areas, but you can't see it on the other side, so I think the paper is like a really solid quality, especially since I want to do like more marker stuff and get back into learning how to render with traditional mediums, because it's just been a really long time. It's so much easier just like sitting down with like an iPad and just like fiddling everything out, and everything is fine, and you can just like overlay, like multiply and overlay layers like out the wazoo, and so you can get like essentially whatever color you want, and that's great and super convenient. But also at the same time, it's like sort of you don't learn as much or as quickly, especially like with digital mediums. You can just undo over and over again, and so I think a lot of this was like coming back to being able to accept my mistakes, and sometimes that mistake is something as like big as the color palette is not necessarily my favorite, but I'm trying to make it work. I'm incorporating this like magenta that was not necessarily part of the design, sort of like the sort of a very like kitsch red velvet inside of like my coffin, like very classic, like almost like a toy Dracula. and like just playing with like the shadows of like the moon, that sort of thing, and like just like I'm just having fun. I'm just relaxing. It's not my favorite thing, but it doesn't need to be. It's just something that's like fun and good and easy, and it's getting me back into drawing after I haven't really been doing a lot since summer started. And I'm just like trying to like fill out those trees, all that good stuff. I really like the harsh like inking style where it's like you can see the shadows of the trees, and then going in with a sort of like mid-value of the magenta. I'm a big fan of that. Sort of going back and fixing some of that. Oh shoot, I totally forgot. I love the magenta and that purple on top of each other. I think it's a really nice way to slightly differentiate the coffin with the background, but not necessarily make it a totally different color. Just so it's like also like the line art is still doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of like spatial depth, which is like super cool and super fun. And like I'm almost done with this actually at this point. I think I'm writing the date like just about right now. I'm cleaning up my desk, pushing it out. Yep, and there's the date. I started this the same day I finished the Sweetie Full, and now it's time to name it. And to match the sort of vampire theming, I named the sketchbook Transylvanian Tango. I name all my sketchbooks like I'm naming racehorses. Here are some across the board that I can name off the top of my head. Or think of immediately, because I have like so many and they're all named bizarre things. But there we go. Hi guys, that's all I have for you today. I've changed locations. I'm now in my studio room. You can see all my trinkets and my prizes. Maybe I'll talk about them someday, but now is not the time, as I will leave you with some more footage. But thank you so much for watching. If you watched the whole thing, I'm giving you a big wet kiss on the mouth. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Yay!